Caffeine. Have you ever noticed that when you lay on your stomach with your head facing the ceiling, the visions that dance around your head all night become more vivid? You might wake up in the middle of the night with an uneasy feeling from the hallucinations you were just experiencing. You stuff your face into your pillow, only to find your subconscious movements turned you right back to the same position as before. On one of these nights in particular, you recall waking up without the slightest idea where you were. Usually, when you slumber in this position, you enter a world of wondrous splendor. When you rise in the morning, you choose to fall right back to sleep, extending the trance you have discovered simply by shifting position. This was not one of those nights. Although you fell asleep face up, you awaken with less orientation than dream-induced euphoria. It was a little frightening, but quickly your thoughts and memory rush back to you, and soon enough you return to rest. That was yesterday, though. Nothing in this world is certain for very long. Who's to say that tomorrow you don't wake up with even more confusion, slowly losing yourself every day, waking up less aware of who you are. Suddenly, it all makes sense, and you feel a dash of pride for exposing the truth. The problem is not sleeping a certain way, waking up with this newfound senselessness, or even going to sleep right after waking. The issue is sleep itself. You've always been a problem solver, and the solution here is self-evident. After all, you've exercised insomnia before, for days on end, eventually losing track if it had been 3 days or a week that you had not been dormant. The trick you've learned is to eat more food. It's not as maniacal as it sounds. Just when you feel your eyelids pulling themselves down, or you start colliding with the bump strips on the side of the road, all you need is calories. It's a kind of balance, sort of like how if you eat enough oxygen-rich food, you don't need to breathe. Most people in non-third world countries have become lazy. Honest. Their bodies have acclimatized to a high level of calories and sleep every day. In time, with enough practice, if you double the amount of food you intake, you will notice how easy it becomes to stay up. Back to my earlier point, you've figured out this is how you'll avoid the demons in your dreams. It was a logical decision at the time. What you didn't account for was the actions of other people. See, it was on that exact day your roommates held a conference in which they did not invite you. Had you been present, obviously, you would have had the right to speak, and your opinion would have been heard, possibly even considered. But I'm getting off track here. In this delegation, without your approval or privy, they have decided a sort of ranking system for the household in which you accompanied bottom rung. Whenever and wherever conceivable, your accommodation was not to be accounted for. The days and weeks that ensued were nothing short of total madness. It started with little things like moving your toothbrush, since there was one bathroom in the house. Before long, your every movement discerned whether you would be stepping in shit or bathed in it. It's still nothing like battling those hallucinations or your respite period. On that front, you've done extremely well. It has now been 4 days and only 32,000 calories down. You don't feel tired at all. It's almost uplifting and energetic, and even without the use of caffeine pills, until very soon in the future. When you get back from the bank a few days later, your roomie had literally booby-trapped your door. As you pull the handle to your chambers, a bucket of oozing fluid piled all over every square inch of your body. That's where the caffeine pills come in, because, of course, the scale must be tipped in another direction. It's only the parameters of your destiny to fulfill justice, no matter what. You know that the only way to do that was to enhance your concentration. Caffeine is just a tool for the job. On the way to the bathroom, you remember to pedal as little gratification to your bedmate as possible, and you wash up and proceed to the store. Reading the box on the way home, it reads, "Do not take more than directed. Consult your physician if you experience any of these symptoms. Blah 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 blah." So on and so forth. Here we go. Do not take more than 8 pills in 24 hours. The case holds 24 pills, so you throw a few in the hatch. Just upon arriving at the front door, knowing full well these suckers start up instantly. It's odd though, the bouncy feeling you've had lately is still around, being completely objective with yourself. As you're walking by your roommate, pretending not to notice his barely subtle, arrogant stance, and still remaining entirely objective, you observe something is amiss with the pills. There's no jolt or punch, just the same wakefulness you've been accustomed to. Startlingly, you begin to feel a heaviness in your chest. Now remembering the cause, a feeling of dread covers over you. You had not eaten at the store. First thing is first, a couple more pills for the alertness required to advance through the kitchen safely and prepare for the necessary action about to be taken in total vengeance against the man occupying the other room. You down the pills, eat a burrito, some chips, a pizza, and grab a drink. That was all it took. The resulting level of focus just about right, pacing the area in front of the entryway to the enemy room for a minute. You examine the shadow of a prick, swinging the door open wildly to catch your opponent off guard. Just then you realise you didn't make a plan for revenge. Fuming in the hallway briefly was enough to instigate the blaze. You swarm your attacker within 800 milliseconds. Okay, where did this knife come from? Next thing you know, you've arisen victorious over the foe. Shreds of torn skin and random glands or membranes or tissues and whatever else lay strewn around the room. That was probably premature. was the last thing that run through your minds. At the foot of my bed. There's someone standing at the foot of my bed. Every night for the past week, my eyelids grow heavy and I slip into unconsciousness. He comes out, his hands grasping the metal railing, rising 1 inch at a time. He peeks out his head first, black and featureless. A pair of cobalt blue eyes set high up where the eyebrows should be. Then out comes his shoulders, then his chest, until he's fully upright. He looks like a store mannequin, sexless, starved. I know I'm sleeping, but my eyes are open, and I see him. But I can't bring myself to talk to him, or reach out to him. The gaunt man just stands there, his eyes transfixed to mine, his breathing shallow and ragged. On Monday, the gaunt man reached out a thin hand with long fingers and pulls back the sheets covering my legs. He drags his fingers across my heels or up the soles of my feet, leaving long trails of red that stained my sheets. It felt like a nightmare, the kind you can't wake yourself out of. Tuesday, I caught a glimpse of him in my bedroom mirror. His back was the same as his front. His cobalt blue eyes found mine in the dark room and just watched me. As I slept, he dragged his fingers across my legs, all the way down to my toenails, scratching them. There's always pain in the morning. There's blood on the sheets, scabs on my legs. He loves mirrors, this I know. He likes to look at himself when he comes out from under the bed. Wednesday, he just stood and stared at his own reflection, as if he were in love with it. His front stayed fixed at me. Thursday, his eyes moved, shifted across his face until they were in just the right place. When this was done, he crawled into the bed beneath the covers and lay beside me. The way he felt when my hand brushed his skin, it made me think of rotted shellfish in a freezer drawer. Friday morning, he was gone. My feet were a bloody mess. Just trying to stand up felt like a dozen needles running through the soles of my feet. I saw him in the puddle I made on the floor. Don't ask me how. I could tell, but he looked like he was smiling. I went to see a doctor about it. He sent me to see a shrink. I've showered 3 times already, but I still smell like rotten shellfish. Friday night. He was leaning over me as I slept. He looks proper now, bit round in the waist, same as me. Saturday morning, I missed the appointment with the shrink. It's hard to type now that he's in my monitor's reflection. He's dragging his fingers across the back of my hands, up my arms, all the way to my shoulders. I can't see the letters all that well for the blood. My eyes are all wrong. He's fading now, but from the creaking of the boards in the next room, I know he's in the bed. Don't ask me how I know this, but it's his bed now. Tomorrow, he'll be in my rearview mirror. Come Monday, I'll be the one standing behind him as he looks at his reflection in the bathroom stalls. I look at my reflection. My eyes are cobalt blue. And that's it for tonight, my little hellhounds. Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed tonight's scary story, then don't forget to subscribe and click the like button. And click the bell icon so you get notified every time I upload. If you have any scary stories you would like narrated on the channel, then submit them to Reddit r/homeofscares and follow me on Twitter at homeofscares. Now, good night, my little hellhounds.